Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in to the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today's episode is a bit different than what we usually do. We're actually going to do this episode that has to do with earth shifts that are currently in play. We're going to talk about magnetic fields. We're going to talk about time as how we're feeling it here. And if we have enough time, we possibly might get into solar issues. So this episode came along because we were giving an Akashic Records class the other day to our students, and Lorena and I during the whole class, for those of you who don't know, Lorena and I during the whole class have our Akashic Records open. So what we're doing during the class is we're teaching from our knowledge and what we know, but at the same time we're putting through messages and information we're getting from the masters. So it's almost like this really cool team of Lorena, me, and our masters teaching. And so that's really cool because we get to channel information for each student if they need it, which usually happens. And so we're channeling additional information. But by means of the class, for some reason, information started coming through about this like time thing that we're going through right now. And I started getting information about magnetic field shifts, which I kind of like stopped them because the class was getting really long. And if I kept talking, which you guys all know I really find hard to talk, if I kept talking, we were not gonna finish that class anytime soon. So I literally cut myself off from continuing to speak, and Lorena and I decided that it was really important because we got a bunch of confirmations after that to confirm that like what we were talking about was actually happening right now and that it's true. And it felt even more important, and we think the confirmations didn't come through because we're supposed to like see it. We think the confirmations came through because it was the way of the master saying, hello, here it is, talk about it. And so that's just a little tidbit I wanted to give about how this episode came into play and why it's so important for us. So this is basically here to help us understand everything that's going on and see what the masters have to say. Lauren and I are both going to have this whole episode with our Akashic Records open. So it's going to be us speaking about what we looked into from what they told us. And it's going to be us getting additional information right now in real time. So I hope it's useful for us, for you, and I hope we all learn something.
Yeah, and I think I want to add in here before we get into kind of explaining some of these ideas is that we don't have all the answers and we're just channeling information, and a lot of this stuff is very new to us. It's probably be new to you, maybe not all of you, but also like keep a very open mind, I think, when listening to all this, because even some of this stuff, like even if you asked us a year ago, we'd be like, what are you talking about? So I think, yeah, the way we're channeling and the things that are coming through and how open we are to seeing the world and how we perceive it, and you know, the information that's coming through, we're opening up a lot to that, and that's helping us become different channelers, I think, in so many ways. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
Well, I wanted to start from my side. I was with my tarot cards because we already have planned out like what we want to talk about in the episode because the masters put them through. But I had my tarot cards here, and I asked like what card they can give us that has to do with this episode today. And the overall card that I got was the High Priestess. And the High Priestess for me is what the Akashic Records are telling me, obviously, is all this that we're going to be talking about in the episode is actually about us in our ascension. So I want everybody to come into this with an open mind. Maybe some of these things sound funky, or maybe some of it's new to you and us, or maybe you're like, man, this is devastation, or this is, man, we're all gonna like blow up and die or something. I don't know, attitude. But just keep in mind that all this is on purpose for our ascension, number one. And the masters are pushing through and reassuring me that it is, and they're making me say that we all signed up for this. Like, remember that when our soul's signing the contract for each and every incarnation, the masters are saying, when you are signing up for it, you have the stats. You have the probabilities and the percentages of this might happen, this is probably going to happen. This was actually one of those probabilities, and your soul agreed that it was going to be a positive influence in that lifetime for that soul's progression. So just keep in mind that you're not a victim. You're not a victim living through any bad situation in your life. You're fulfilling your karmic agreements and plans, and this has an overall reason. And in this case, this overall reason of everything that we're currently talking about is tied in with our ascension.
Yeah. I want to add in, I just pulled an oracle card, and it's basically says stuff about fear. So like fear is leading the way into places you don't need to go. And I think with that kind of makes me connect that to this information that's going to come through. Like there's no need to fear the information. There's no need to fear what's coming. We need to trust what's coming and remember that, like it says here, most of what you fear at the moment is an illusion stemming from an old belief that isn't even true. So I think that's also uncovering lies and things that are coming through lately, like messages we've been receiving of, you have to really use your critical mind, but also your intuition to decipher what is true and what's not true, because there's a lot of uncovering lies moving forward for the rest of the year and from the beginning of the year. But I think it's going to get even more, it's going to be more of a thing moving forward. Yeah, justice. Like Lucy just pulled a tarot card as well. So it says, you will not watch everyone else get what you want while you are left alone and unloved. So it's like, I think it's kind of making your own peace with what's going on, not fearing it. And it says false evidence appearing real is hovering over you. So like, I think this is like the perfect message. And this is like, I don't need to repeat it. We've already said it a few times before anyway, but
the conspiracy theorist inside of me is loving that card.
Yeah.
And then, while you're saying that, like I got the Justice card, which is, again, this is the year for stuff to come out. And the masters have talked about this before. This is the year for truth to come out. And that's exactly what your card's saying, right?
Yep.
Justice needs to start coming through, and it needs to start happening. And the only way justice can be done, and the only way that the truths can be revealed, is by the earth movement and us ascending. So that's why all this is coming into play. It's all for our own good, right?
Totally. I feel that.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is the first original message that I had started getting when we were talking to our students. If you remember it, Lo.
Yeah.
The Masters has showed it to me. I'm going to try to explain this so people can see it with me. The Masters had shown me what looked like a spiral. So spiral doesn't stay in this, it starts moving down or up, depending on how you're looking at it. So it's a spiral, right? So we usually live in a time frame where that spiral has enough time to move up, go around and move down, and move up and go around and move down. So that's a typical time frame, or the way time feels for us before. And the Masters are showing me what it is now. And it's literally the spiral. It's almost like it got thinner. Like it used to be like thicker, and now it got thinner. And so now it's like moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down. So I'm going through processes faster. Things are going quicker. Time is going quicker. Processes are going quicker. I'm closing things out. Done. Next. Done. Next. Done. Next. It's almost like a freaking it's like an ADD checklist.
I keep getting that message with so many people with their Akashic Records. It's healing is quicker. Everything's quicker, but you have to be present, and you have to have the intention. Like you have to be ready.
Yeah. And so that's it. The events are going quicker. Time is actually going quicker. And I literally, when I was channeling that, I'm like, how do you prove that? Like, how do you prove that? So I had started looking up information. And if I look back to the notes we have here, Lorena, we had jotted down that Greg Braden had said that Earth's rotation is slowing down And so time is speeding up.
I think so. And I heard that a lot. Like, I remember when I was like 20 something, someone was saying that time was already shifting then, but I feel like now it's even more powerful. Like, because the message I'm getting is this shift of speed, at the speed of what we're living and what we're experiencing, and how time, it's like us as humans in this human brain, we're so stuck on time and these very earthly concepts. It's like a way of us like waking up to that and saying like, no, time is not on your side. Like, time is going against you because everything seems faster now. So you need to detach from that idea of time. You need to detach from that concept that you had of time. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of, like, obviously there's a lot of scientific stuff to it, but the message I'm getting at a spiritual level is it's moving faster because we need to physically and energetically move faster with our healing, with how we're perceiving things, and be able to move forward to heal whatever's coming, because there isn't time. Like, we need to prepare. Like, I'm not trying to freak anybody out because I'm not freaked out, but it's more like, become the most aligned version of yourself. Tune in with yourself.
Yeah. And then, like, they were talking about at some point, they called it the 3-to-1 because Akashic Records loves the number 3, by the way. Yeah. They call it the 3-to-1, that we're currently living 3 years of experience packed into 1 year. I totally feel that. Mm. Like, totally. They say that, I'm like, yep, that's how it feels. Yep.
Well, what they're saying is like, that's the only way for us to wake up. Because if things are spread out during time and space, then it's not going to shock us. It's not going to make us really see and make the changes that we need to make. So the time plays such an important role in this energetic phase that we're going through, for us to all wake up and become more conscious and more connected to each other and the earth and other dimensions too, they're saying.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I keep feeling that, and I keep getting obsessed with learning about the whole thing. But another thing that I'm being brought up, and I don't know if was it channeled during the class or not? They were talking about how we're the only slow ones currently living through what time is. Like, everyone else is like la-di-da, no time over here, and we're like the ones that are stuck in this time frame of time. Yeah. But that's literally, that was a limitation that was implanted in our reality to create that sort of reality for us to learn even further. So that's actually put here on Earth to make us struggle a little bit more.
Totally. I feel that. Because without the time, certain conditions couldn't be met, they're saying. So the time is what allows us to not only heal, but also to go through what we need to in a specific human brain way. Like, for example, they're saying, without time and without that concept of time that we have, certain accidents couldn't happen, certain things couldn't happen. Like, we couldn't live through certain experiences that we've come here to live. So time has been such a crucial part of our experience here, our souls here as humans in this like human experience. So the time is fundamental for us to learn and to struggle, because especially the stress that we have, work, jobs. If there was no time, how would jobs work? It would be all very weird and different. It's like, oh, cool, I have a job, I do it whenever I want. Then we wouldn't have that struggle of going through a job that we quote unquote hate or like dislike, and it sucks up our time. It's all about time. Like, that's how I see it.
We're enslaved by time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But at the same time, that reminds me of what I've been like. I think I channeled something similar to what I'm about to talk about, which is the freedom thing. Like, we're not free. Like, there's this illusion where the word freedom is thrown out there, like freedom of this and freedom of that. And like, just because you put the word freedom in the sentence, or you say these individuals in this society are free, right? Like, look at the United States. United States love putting that word. What is it called? They call them they're a free nation or something. What do they call it? What's the term?
The freedom states or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
They just put it in there to feed our conscious minds and subconscious minds, probably. By the way, you're free. By the way, you're free. By the way, you're free. And everything's controlled, actually. And the masters show me how it's like a very structured place. And most places are very structured places where actually everything's calculated, timed, and considered. And everything's calculated, timed, and considered via the individuals that are on the top of the ladder who are deciding what will come into action and what will play and what everybody deserves or doesn't deserve.
Yeah, that vertical hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
Of the top to the bottom. But that spiral you were seeing, so people could understand it, because obviously we don't have video. It's like a spiral going horizontal, sideways, not up and down.
I didn't
it's
think
left
to
to
explain
right.
that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were saying it. But that goes to show that it's that concept of time is, it's from left to right or right to left, whatever way you see it, left to right for me. But it's not that hierarchy, it's time. But what you were saying is interesting, because that freedom is an illusion. The only way we are free is when we free ourselves, because we're the ones holding ourselves back from seeing the truth, from seeing what's happening, and from being connected to ourselves and to everybody around us. We're the only ones holding ourselves back. And this freedom is an illusion in some ways. But we need to break free from that.
I love what the masters are saying to me right now. The masters are saying, if there's a hierarchy. Sorry, guys. Hierarquía. If there's an hierarquía, it's so weird how, like, there's certain words I can say it in Spanish, but I can't say it in English, or I can say it in English and I can't say it in Spanish. It's the weirdest thing. Sorry, guys. Bilingual people problems.
No worries.
But so there's this like chain, and if the person on top is on purpose placing a word to make you decide or convince you that you're there, take that as an indicator that it's not true.
Like what, for example?
Freedom. Like we're just talking about. Freedom of the people. Freedom state, you said, right? Freedom state?
I don't know what the word...
There's a freedom something. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
America, the land of the free. There we go. Land of the free.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody put it on everybody's mind. Someone said, guys, someone on the top goes, guys, let's get this word out that this is a land that's free, And let's just keep repeating it. And let's make it the motto of the country. Make everybody believe they're really free. And so the Akashic Records are saying, if the word that's trying to show you that something's going on comes from someone on the top, it's highly probable that that word is trying to cover up the truth. And so what is this year? They're getting to a point here. What is this year? Like you had said, this is the year of real truth to come out. This is the year of justice. You no longer have power over me. Your lie can no longer circulate in my high vibrational reality. Your lie is going to combust.
And no one can control that now at this point. It's energetically, it's going to come up. And the word bust I love, because that's like, you're busted. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I see it. Like, you're
but
busted.
Also, like, after they said
the
bust,
truth came out.
And they said combust. Isn't it combust like internal busting?
Blows up. Yeah.
It's combustion is like an internal explosion, right? Whereas instead of external, I think.
Explosion, like implosion, explosion.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a reason why.
But
the
way I see the bust, the bust, I love that, because energetically that seems like, they're saying like you're busted.
Like, yes, busted.
Yeah, like you're busted. Like you're found out. This is the year to find truths.
Yeah.
And at all levels. It's not just at a political, at a justice level, but also within ourselves. So there's a very individual side of it too.
I know that it might sound like we're talking about political. I'm actually not talking about political. I'm actually talking about more corporate. We're slaves to our jobs. So we can bring in money, so we can buy in, maybe some of us, so we can buy more material but to sustain some of us, to sustain happiness, we've created this need to buy. So I need to continue to be happy. So I need to continue to make money so I can continue to buy. I'm just a slave to this tool that I believe is happiness, which is shopping, for example, right? But I'm a slave to my, for example, 9 to 5. So now I have to go to work because I need to pay for this house that everyone tells me that this is the dream house. Everyone wants this house, right? And I need to pay for, food on the table. But at the same time, I need to pay for this car that I really think that I need. And then every year I need to upgrade it because I think I really need to upgrade it because I'm convinced that I need to upgrade it, whatever it is, right? But whatever it is the condition, the reason why you're needing to more specifically sustain that life, you're a slave to this system. We're all slaves to the system. And the system was put into play by someone who's profiting off of it. Much more than we are, of course, right? And these are the energies that I've been channeling information about with the Akashic Records. And I did an IGTV. Oh no, I did a YouTube video about it. Like that was the whole video that was about that. It was about being conditioned to be not free, possibly believing I'm free, and also losing my own power. I need to regain my power. And this is the card.
Power.
This card, like I'm getting the Magician card. This was the card for me for this year, and this is part of the system for me. I'm here to find my true identity, to connect with my true self, and manifest into my life everything that I want and I need without having to be conditioned by a system. I need to break through the system. This is the year to begin, because we're not going to do it in a year. This is the year to begin to come out of that controlled condition, is what the masters say. We all deserve better.
We all do, yeah. But also breaking free, I think this regaining your internal power or finding your internal power goes hand in hand with seeing who you really are. I think we've been also conditioned so much, and I don't know if it's conditioned, but to think and feel a certain way about things, that it's like now we're starting to have to, because we have to, there's not like an option here, to really think for ourselves and to really figure out what's true to us instead of what people say is true. So there's a lot of self-teaching, a lot of self-introspection. There's a lot of just looking inward. I see that a lot. And the more we can do that, the better we'll be off. And finding like your truth, your real truth from your essence and from your soul level. So that might mean, that doesn't mean you have to be an Akashic Records reader, obviously, but it means just whatever that is to you. If that means connecting to yourself and pushing away media, pushing away things like that condition you and that make you feel somehow controlled. I think that word control comes up. The better we're all going to be off, and we're not going to be limiting ourselves to living a specific and certain way.
Yeah. So at the same time, the other information that we were getting had to do with the magnetic field of Earth. So this is another thing that's currently affecting Earth, right? And the way that it was received, the information was there's a drastic change in the magnetic field, which is part of this process that they're helping us break down. Now my Lucia brain, as soon as that information came through and we were like preparing the episode, my Lucia brain, who's an extremist, of course, was like, wow, magnetic field change, everything's advancing, there's way more magnetic field on Earth, right? Like my extremist brain like literally jumped to like, there's, I don't know, there's much more magnetic field. But then looking into it and researching it further, 2 days before that, an article had come out funny enough, talking about how 9% of the magnetic field of Earth, I don't know, you call it lowered? I forgot what you call it.
They like dipped or lowered. I don't know how you'd say that.
That goes to show you guys we're definitely not experts.
Well, it's just messages, yeah.
Okay, 9% of the magnetic field of Earth has lowered, I guess, or weakened.
Just went down. Yeah, weakened. Yeah.
And so my extremist brain went, oh, they said drastic magnetic field change. They didn't say lower or higher. They said change. That had a purpose, of course, right? And further looking into it, I was channeling also at the same time some more information, but further looking into it, they had started talking about a possible, this is like a drastic change, right? But they were talking about, I don't know if you remember, Lo, but they were talking about a possible inversion of like it seemed like the poles.
North and South Pole?
Yeah. It was like, it's almost like the magnetic field is going to go down, down, down. Because also the article said that scientists don't know why it's happening. That's what the article said. But the way that they were showing to me the masters, and this is a probability, not set in stone, right? So this is something that could be one of the things that one of the alleys we're going to be going down. So it all depends on how everybody continues, how Earth continues, basically, right?
Can I just chime in now because I'm just channeling some messages? It says this is also the reason why we're getting sick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That magnetic field.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's causing immune issues and causing things to be unstable and for things to just move quicker. That's also the quickness. Like this COVID thing, what they're showing me is that spiral. It's how quickly things can move along, and one day it's okay and the next day we're all in quarantine. That also shows it there. But I think this magnetic, the movement of the magnetic field or the lowering or the changing of the magnetic field, but also the north and south poles and the magnetic shifts there also have something to do, they're saying, with us not feeling well. And it doesn't have to be you get sick with coronavirus. They're saying it could just be you feeling very weak and they're saying unhinged, which I have used that word probably twice in my life, I think. But I think that's like, and the vision I get is people lashing out about topics and things in a very violent and violent way. Yeah.
It's funny, I just pulled, on the issue you're talking about right now, I pulled the shadow card.
The shadows, yeah.
So the moon card is like you confronting your shadows, right?
Mm-hmm. This is all shadows, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course. So what the masters had been showing us was that the magnetic field will continue to lower and lower and lower and lower till eventually the pole, north and south pole, invert or change positions, I guess you can call it. And then that's going to actually whack out on like the temperature, like it's going to make everything all weird and like it's just going to be like temperatures, like maybe when a country had like winter, you're going to have summer then. Like it's almost like you're going to have an extreme change of winter, summer, spring, fall, right? All those are going to switch up their positions and what months they used to have, or it's like it feels like the climate's going to completely change because of this drastic pole change. Again, it's a probability. I keep wanting to say the word possibility, and they keep making me say probability, which means means more.
There's a possibility, probability.
Yeah, if there's a possibility,
a possible
right?
Probability.
I would like to say possibility, but they're making me see probability. So
yeah,
it seems like it's more. That's what's happening now because it's more aligned with what's happening now. And so this is all actually part of our ascension, though. At the same time, this is all helping us get to to change our reality, adapt it, improve it, move up in dimensions.
Connect better.
Yeah.
Understand what's going on.
Now
it's like it'll shift our brain.
Yeah.
Open us up somehow. It's interesting. We're both like channeling at the same time, and then we're both like looking at our notes and we're like, whoa.
And again, I keep getting like, you guys signed up for this, so this isn't like, your soul's not like, whoa, what? They're like, you didn't tell me about this. Like, no, the soul's like, yeah, it was about time that this happened. Actually, most individuals that were already waking up or are already awake were actually begging this to happen, like praying and wishing that it finally came into play, because those that were already awake were done with this structure of reality that they had signed up for a change. They had signed up for the dramatic change, and they were like, when is it coming to play? Because it actually was, so first of all, they felt like it was going to come into play sooner, but also this isn't the first time that this comes into play on Earth. It wasn't in our lifetime as the individuals we are now, but guess what? It was in all of our lifetimes we reincarnated other individuals. All of us that are going through this on Earth right now, the masters say, we were all incarnated on Earth when an ascension plan came into play and we, let's say, didn't make it. It was failed. It was failed. We didn't make it. And so now our souls are getting the second round, the second chance of trying to do it again. Of course, in another body, in another lifetime. And this is our time to get it right, guys. This is our time to get it right.
It is our time. It is definitely our time. And there is no time. Like, I mean, I don't want to like make it like urgent or whatever, but it's like, there's no need to keep waiting. Like, we just need to move forward and change what we need to change and wake up. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Just with that small shift, I feel like there can be such a change on Earth right now. Like drastic, they're saying.
And so you were talking just now about how it's affecting our immune systems and stuff like that.
Emotions, too.
Yeah. But the other thing is, these changes are affecting, like every living being on Earth is affected by it. Also our bacteria and viruses. So what are we also finding? That this conjunction of alignments are happening. And I'm calling that COVID, right? It's a conjunction of things that happen one after the other that created this perfect storm, right? That perfect storm came into play and was able to come into play thanks to all these earth changes. And all these earth changes allowed these bacteria to go from being present to overtaking. Over, like living more, expanding more than they were able to a year ago, right?
Propagating in a way that's immeasurable, they're saying. Yeah.
So that's also why we have, first of all, that's also why we have COVID. Second of all, that's also why we're going to have more COVIDs.
Like versions of COVID.
Yeah, well, I'm saying COVIDs as a saying like sicknesses, right? We're not going to have just this one sickness. I don't know if it's going to be other kinds of sicknesses or if it's going to be COVID. What's it called when it adapts?
Mutation.
Or if it's a mutation of COVID, but something else is coming. And I hope that we all learned to prepare like for the first one, because everyone keeps saying it and I'm getting it too. This was a test drive. COVID was a nice little test drive. It's like you were in school learning to drive a car for the first time. You had your little instructor next to you helping you out, making sure you got it right. Now you've been put on the highway in a massive truck and there's no instructor there to help you.
They're saying boot camp. This was like a little boot camp before you actually go to training or go to war or go to, go get into the field. Same thing.
And so why did we get a test drive? That's the question, right? The test drive was to help you. I'm not talking about prepare as in like, let me get 20,000 packs of toilet paper. Okay, no. Because the masters actually like, literally out of all the reactions we could have had, the masters as much as us were like, what?
What's going on?
That's your human reaction to this problem? Like, but what they're saying is this test drive, this boot camp, as Lorena would say, was put into play to help you spiritually align and prepare from an internal place. Because only those that are perfectly aligned will be able to handle this mentally and physically better than the other individuals that are not prepared physically or mentally, aka for them, those two things come into play as perfect when you're aligned.
Correct, yeah. I think, yeah, there's just so many, the way I'm kind of seeing it is there's so many little things, like you said, that had to line up for this to happen. And like taking away all the conspiracy theories of everything that's going around, which I think some have some truth to them from what we've channeled as well. But apart from that, there needed to be a lot of things that were lined up in order for all of this to come through and to have come full circle to where we are today. And I also get that message of this is not over. This is just the beginning. And we need to strap on because we need to be like physically, emotionally, mentally, like ready. Like, you know, it's not going to be easy and at different levels for different people, not in the same way, I think. I think we're all going to live through it very differently. But I think we all need to kind of accept that. I think the moment we can accept it is the moment we can let it in and let it be what it needs to be. But for us to also like glide through it and not have to like they're showing me like when you're going on one of those rides with bumps and it's like you're holding on and your head's shaking. It's like you don't have to do that. You can slide right through. You can flow through in a different way if you can just mentally prepare yourself and physically and be like healthy. I think food's huge right now. Like, and we've talked about this before and this come up with a few other people that we've done readings with of like food's going to be an issue. But also we need to be eating healthy right now so we can prepare ourselves for what's coming.
I feel all that stuff that you're saying. I really believe that, and I feel that. I mean, it's those that follow us on Instagram know that I've already started my garden in the back, and I've been feeling called to do that. And I think a lot of us have been called to kind of go more the natural way and feel like we're a little bit more in control of our own stuff. So I don't know exactly how it's going to go. We both don't get that because the Akashic Records, first of all, we're also human beings having an experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And they also won't tell us exactly everything that's going to happen because if not, it's going to actually set us aside from our experience that we signed up for. So we're actually not also permitted to have every detail given to us. We can be given certain parts of it to come from more like understanding place of, and like the Akashic Records are healing, understanding more situations so that you can accept it and not live from a place of trauma, fear, or anxiety and hurt, right?
Correct, yeah.
And so that's the reason why we wanted to share this with everybody, because we know that it's important information, and that's why they were pushing it through, and we knew we had to talk about it at some point. And I think we wanted at some point to talk about all this stuff, or well, some of this stuff, but I think we weren't really ready. And also some chaos came into play in the world, which it's like it was hard to get centered and say, okay, we're ready to talk about this one thing and it get attention finally. But there's more like this is not done. And I'm wondering like this episode's coming out in 2 days.
So today is the 18th and this will come out on 22nd, Monday the 22nd.
Yeah. So that's after the eclipse.
Yeah, after the eclipse comes around.
I know a lot of people that are currently like super exhausted. Like not only is Earth coming into play, our solar system is coming into play to help all this stuff drastically align also. Like just look at the Patricia would say, look at the sky. What is it telling you, right?
It's so true though.
Yeah.
Like we I think as with our human brains doesn't realize how just the moon has this ridiculous effect on us and the planet. Imagine like all the other planets that we just kind of brush off. Like, this is huge. Like, there's so many factors playing at the same time. But I do think that, like you said, this is just the beginning. I feel very tired. I've been feeling a bit like, I don't know. I mean, I do feel tired, but at the same time, I feel like my brain isn't working. It's like I'm very all over the place at moments, and also looking, I don't feel like nervous or anxious or anything like that, but I feel more like, maybe because I've been put it upon myself of like just saying, you know, I will find the answers when I need them. I'm not forcing myself to get there, but I'm open to hearing like signs from the universe of like, what's the next move? Like, what do we do? Because I think there's going to be a moment where we're all going to need to make decisions. That's the feeling I get as well for everybody. It's like right now we're all in like the calm before the storm mode, but it's going to come to a point where we're all going to be like, all right, cool. We're going to be faced with specific situation or specific situations where we need to make a decision. We need to move. We need to act. They're saying act because, you know, I think a lot of us have woken up from what's happening, but there's still a lot more awakening and a lot more movement and a lot more energy we need to be moving to make things the way they need to be, to update the planet, update the energy.
Yeah, I get the word like upgrade. Like we all need to upgrade. Like we're running on, you know, Earth 1.0. We need to be running on Earth 2.0. Like that upgrade needs to come into play. And yeah, it's time. It's time to do it. But also at the same time, like there's other things that they were saying that might come into play. And it's, sorry if you hear the noise. Buddha's eating.
Her cat.
My cat's eating, like, and he has his food near where I'm recording. So he likes like going to the area where like where I am or where one of us is. So if I'm here and the food's there, he's like, "Oh, food! Let me go to the food," and then starts cracking at the food while I'm like in the middle of a reading or while I'm in the middle of recording with you. But anyways, like they had told me about solar flares possibly coming into effect at the same time. But imagine, this is how they showed me solar flares coming into play while the magnetic field is going down. They called it the ×2. Whatever you feel, that's Buddha jumping off of the table where he eats, sorry. Whatever you feel, whatever you're focusing on, like let's say you're focusing on anger, let's say you're focusing on injustice, or, you know, whatever it is negative you might be focusing on. Imagine that ×2, feeling it ×2. So that's why we all need to be in a good place, because if there continues to be a magnetic change that they talk about, and then this eventually, and they talked about it being a possibility. So the solar flares thing that affects us in this way is a possibility, whereas the polar inversion thing that they were talking about was a probability. So the solar flares things that affects us in this way is a possibility, and you want to be on the right side of the coin when or if this happens, because if you feel really good, you're going to feel good ×2. If you're going to be aligned and spiritual, you're going to be those ×2. But if you're angry, upset, and unbalanced, you're going to go to the other side, and you're just going to start vibrating wrong, and you're going to be one of the many departed ones to go, because guess what, guys? We're not done saying goodbye to people.
Mm-hmm. I pulled an oracle card just now while you were talking, and I got the card Why. And it says, motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. And I think that's so important right now, of like understanding why you're doing what you're doing and why you believe certain things. Like, why are you following a specific path in your life? That could be your job. That could be who you choose to, they're saying, hurt you, love you. And that's what's going to give you the answers you need. Finding your why. Ask that every day. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why is this coming up in my life? Like, the why is so important because we're asked to be questioning ourselves constantly now. It's not sitting back with our feet up watching Netflix. It's like, why? Like, really finding the answer.
And I think that COVID-19, part of the boot camp was the stillness. We were asked to be still. And that's the best way to get humans to go in. Because if not, we'll put excuses. I have to go here, I have to go there. I have this wedding, I have this party, I have this reunion, I have this meeting, I have this whatever. And we're not still. And by not being still, you're just busy. You're occupying yourself and you're not going in. And so we were put into this situation where we had to be still. And that was our indicator from the masters, the guides, the beings of light. That was each and everybody's individual master set, giving them the indication that they had to be still. Go within and realign yourself before you go back out again.
Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense.
So I think that we handled it pretty well. I think the information we've been giving hasn't been too scary.
Yeah, I think it's the why is also finding your truth. Like, find what's true to you right now. And it won't be the same for everybody. I feel like that's the whole point right now. They're saying is there isn't one truth. There isn't one. And I think we're all pushed to always believe in one thing and believe in a person and a thing and put it up on this hierarchy, like we were saying. And it's like, that's gone. Like, we're not doing that anymore. It's find your truth and respect the truths of others, because we have a choice. We can decide not to live the way we're living anymore. And it's not about, and I keep stressing this and I keep saying this and I keep getting so worried when people say things will go back to normal. Like, no.
That word triggers me.
Yeah, me too, a little bit, but because of the messages I'm getting, that's
why.
I
know, because it contradicts what I think that we're supposed to be doing, or feel. We're supposed to be doing.
We could be wrong, you know what I mean? Like, we're not the all-knowing people, and our masters and guides give us messages, but I don't feel like we're.
But funny enough, like all the other people we interview, all that are some sort of awakened path, all feel the same thing.
Yeah. It's we're not supposed to go back to quote unquote normal. We're supposed to make the changes. We're supposed to make the shifts now so that we can come out the other side once all of this has subsided. Feeling peace with ourselves, feeling peace with what's going on, because it won't be easy. But we can get through it. Like, that's the point. Like, I know it sounds scary, but we're supposed to go through this. We signed up for this. We were on board with this when we signed our contract. So, you know, it's part of our path.
Yep.
Living through all of this time, which is really crazy, like really insane and very uncertain.
But at the same time, you can enhance the collective by actually being in a good place and by aligning yourself first, aligning yourself, making sure you're okay. And then from there, you're actually a good uploader. I always talk about the collective as downloading and uploading, because that's the way they show it to me, and they always explain it to me. They always say, imagine, now that we all know about the cloud, right? Imagine that all the collective intentions, thoughts, desires, dreams, everything's uploaded into one cloud. Everybody. I'm talking about everybody's incarnated. One cloud. You're connected to that cloud. And your thoughts and your intentions are uploaded onto the cloud. And then you, without knowing it, are downloading information from the cloud. So someone on the other side of the world is feeling anger or, fear. And you on the other side of the world can actually download that at some point, right? And so how do you overtake that? So many people currently feeling fear or anger. How do you overtake that? By having many other people on earth uploading onto the cloud alignment, empowerment, love, enlightenment, feeling better, feeling light, feeling purposeful. So by aligning ourselves, we're doing a plus, obviously for ourselves, but we're actually upping the game for the collective itself. You're not only helping yourself out, you're helping out humanity out.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're all connected more than we can all say, oh, we're all one, unity, the conscious unity. But it's like the way they're showing it to me, and I think we've kind of depicted what it looks like the lights, all the lights on the globe lighting up and how we're all connected. But it's like we are literally all one. And we are one with the earth. We are one with this planet right now because our soul is connected to our human body. So we need to understand that it's not only at a soul level, but at a very physical level that we're all connected, and that we need to just understand that for us to see the truth of what's going on and see the truth of what's coming. That's all. Like, it's not complicated. They're saying it's not complicated at all. We complicate it.
The masters are telling me, and it sounds weird, like it's so simple, find your happy place. What is your happy place? With who? Okay. What are you doing in the happy place? You're gardening? What are you doing in your happy place? You're reading books? Okay, go to your happy place. Spend more time in your happy place. Yeah. That's literally the advice they're giving.
Yeah, the grounding, the presence, all of that. Because you're in flow state. You're connected. You're connected to that cloud and helping everybody through that. That's come through in a few of my readings too, now that I think about it, where people are like called to follow their soul path because that connects them to their soul and to their masters or guides, and then that makes them elevate their energy, right? So it's all completely connected, and it affects everybody around you, everyone. It's crazy, but it's so true. And I think everyone kind of has that idea of like, when you, for example, they're saying you go to work and there's that one coworker who's always so freaking negative, and they're always bitching about something that they're going through, or how horrible this or that is. That brushes off on the whole office. That can bring down the energy of everybody around them. Just that one person, and everybody else is in a great mood. That one person brings everybody down. Just to imagine with millions of people, how that works at a very subconscious level of, all of us with that fear, with that worry, with that not feeling connected. And then that just affects everybody. That brings us all down, I always say light is much more powerful than the shadows and the dark, but we're going through some tough times right now. So, we need to really up our game with staying aligned, staying connected, and taking care of ourselves, because it's been put up a level. Like, we're up another level. It's going to get harder and harder. So the more we can just keep at it, the better it's going to be, and the easier it's going to get later, because they're not making it easy for everybody right now. Not at all.
Yeah, but if nothing, change only comes from crisis or chaos, right? Like a low point, like when you hit rock bottom, that's the only time where change can actually come into play. So this is the only way that they could have created those changes that are needed. So if they made it easy, it wouldn't have been worth it. That's what the masters say.
No, I see that, but I'm saying, I think even for these people, even for us, or for anybody that's awakened or on the spiritual path, things are getting harder. And I feel that sometimes. It's like the struggle to not fall into the media, to not fall into watching the news. And I'm like completely disconnected right now. Like, I've been for months, and I'll listen to news here and there, but I'm like, we've talked about this on the podcast before, like, when all of this stuff started hitting, I got into this spiral of just like negativity. And I was like, I cannot, like, it's bringing my energy down. And the only thing that would take me out of it was like doing an Akashic Records reading or opening my own Akashic Records. So I got to a point where I'm like, I need to take care of my energy. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's doesn't matter how connected you are. There's going to be things trying to suck you into that negativity, into that low vibrational energy. So we need to keep working at it even harder.
I like watching, I don't listen to the news more than maybe 30 minutes a day or something. But I like finding out, like reading or listening to the news of the day, because I like to see those alignments that they're talking about. Like, I like to pinpoint and spot those things. Oh, this is part of the awakening. Oh, this is, so I want to look at it from like a spiritual point. I want to give it meaning. It is exactly it. I want to give it meaning. I want to give it its why. Huh?
No, that makes sense. And I'll do that too. Like, I'll figure it out, and I'll like connect the dots, like, you know what I mean? But not from a place of fear. Like, I will not allow myself to get into that anymore, because it brings me down, man.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. So take care of yourselves, guys. Like, just do what you need to do for yourself, regardless of what everyone else is doing around you. Like, follow what feels right for you.
Yeah. All right, so I think we did a good job of not sounding too depressing or too fearful.
No, there's a bunch of concepts here. I think, do your own research. Like we said, find your why, find your own studies, and find your own research that you're interested in. And we found this. We looked more into this because Lucia specifically channeled this information, and it's not.
And because we don't understand it.
So you research, right? You do your research and you look into it, and it's very interesting. But at the same time, it's like, I think there's more to know about it. And it's going to be revealed, I think. Like, I don't think
I'm really
we're supposed to know
interested in seeing how the next week to 2 weeks going to go, because I'm like holding my breath waiting. What is it is something happening soon? Like... I feel like I'm like holding my breath.
Yeah, I get you.
There's this weird feeling in there for me.
Not from fear. Yeah, there's a weird feeling too, but not from fear.
I'm just like embracing waiting. What is it?
Yeah. No, I get you. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I know that there's probably like a little bit of technicality to all of this stuff and all the research and all that, but this is kind of what we felt like channeling and messages we were getting, and we felt you guys all needed to hear it. So like, we hope this resonated in some way with you, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or anything like that.
And just a reminder that Lorena and I are both still doing readings together.
Dual readings. Yeah.
So you're getting like both of us channeling your Akashic Records at the same time. And we also independently read for those that don't want to get a dual reading. We also both independently still read. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to us on our contact form on Soul Tribe Podcast, or you can go to each of ours website and contact us there, whichever is more convenient for you.
Yeah, Instagram, website, whatever is easier. You can also reach us at soultribepodcast@gmail.com. That's a good way to contact us, and we're pretty much connected 24/7 between the time difference Lucy and I have. But feel free to reach out, and we're also making, we have a discount on that dual reading, so feel free to reach out if you're curious or would like to know more info. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, because we are going to be posting all of our information from our episodes. Lucy has been doing a ton of really cool videos with channeled messages, as well as on YouTube. We've been kind of moving over some of the IGTV to YouTube because it's like a longer format, and I do see some kind of shifts going on to our YouTube, so be sure to follow us there. Some of our episodes, we will record them as well, so you guys can see our face and see our guests. So like, be sure to go there and check those out. And also be sure to follow us on Facebook. We're on there as well. And we're here if you guys have any questions or need anything, feel free to reach out. And we are also looking into doing the Akashic Records Level 1 in July, but we're going to see what kind of demand we have for that, because we need a minimum in the class in order to go through with that. So if you are looking into it or interested in the Akashic Records Level 1, be sure to email us on our soultribeacademy@gmail.com, or you can just message us on Instagram or through our website. Either or any of those are good, so don't worry about that. And yeah, we'll keep you updated on the course. We're probably going to do a post about that as well, so we'll keep you all in the loop. And we want to just say have a good week and take care of yourselves, and we love you guys. Thanks for all the support.
Thank you.